It is Red Sox Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow, brought to you by Shaw's and Star Market, perfecting the art of fresh, and by findmassmoney.gov. Hey, Craig.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
Doing great. Yoshida back in the lineup last night at DH, went 3 for 4. What does having him back do for this team?
Yeah, I think it gives us another quality left-handed bat in a little bit different profile. That he prioritizes putting the ball in play. He has a quality at bat, really controls the strike zone, and I think it lengthens the lineup. So obviously, all good things. Great to have him back.
Night off for Rafaela last night. I know there were some that were saying why that choice. Alex Cora spoke a little bit about it yesterday afternoon, but there's an abundance of guys, I guess, and the night off is not a bad thing, right?
Yeah, that's the way that we see it, and there will be some balancing act to making sure that everybody gets enough playing time, but also we're able to keep everybody fresh. And nobody's ever complained about having too many good players, and the more good players that you have, that means that there are guys on any given night who are on the bench that are probably capable of being everyday guys, and we need to figure out how to balance that out. But I think you've seen the comments from Alex and the guys that recognize that we're trying to accomplish something together, and that means that on any given night, somebody might be out of the lineup.
Craig, I know we're still a few weeks away from the trade deadline, but let's say hypothetically it was tomorrow. You guys have to be looking. What's the one area that you would like to improve this baseball team?
Yeah, it's a very fair question. I'm not trying to avoid answering it, but I think it kind of depends on where we are, and so we have to zoom out a little bit and try to figure out who are we and what do we have coming back and what do we think is sustainable. Meaning, a month and a half ago, we would have talked a ton about starting pitching and getting more consistency and finding someone who slots in toward the top of the rotation behind Garrett. And then you look at what Lucas and Brian have done over the last month and a half and start to feel confident in the way that the starting pitching is coming together. That said, you can never have too much, so I think that's probably what we would prioritize. But we've seen what Fitz has done. Dobbins is getting healthy. Houck is getting healthy. So we have some depth, but I think if there's the opportunity to provide some impact starting pitching and add that to the group, that's probably where we focus.
Craig, going back to that abundance of outfielders that we were just talking about, and having kind of an overload of talent in that part of your roster, to what extent do you feel that factors into maybe being in a position where the smartest move becomes trading one of those players?
Yeah, it's something that you would have to consider if there was an opportunity to improve the team elsewhere. But I think it's really important to point out that we don't have to trade one of the outfielders simply because we have, more guys that are capable of contributing than can start every night. And I think there's a way to balance this out. Alex is very aggressive in matching up, finding pinch hit opportunities, moving guys around, and making sure that the pieces come together. But we have to be open-minded about ways to improve the team. The obvious one that continues to pop up is there an opportunity to address the rotation potentially through some of that outfield depth? And we just don't know yet.
Alex Cora said on this radio station yesterday that Alex Bregman will play this series.
Yeah, that's it's looking that way, and I'll stop short of saying definitively yes, because every day that Alex comes in, he does a little bit more, he pushes it a little bit harder, and we need to see how he comes out of that and how he recovers the next day. But he's been working really hard to get back on the field before the All-Star break, and certainly looks like it's trending that way.
Before you answer fair question, I'm going to ask you this in a different way. If you could use one word, and only one word, to describe any extension talk when it comes to Scott Boras on Alex Bregman, what would that word be?
I've got to think about that. I might consider preferring to find my third favorite band.
I mean, would it be ongoing? Would it be middle of the intermediary, continuing, unstarted?
I think ongoing is always a fair summary. Just given this is something that's on our mind. It's clearly something on Alex's mind, but the priority for the last almost 2 months has been doing everything we can to get Alex back on the field. But I think I've been pretty outspoken about what he's provided on the field and in the clubhouse to a bunch of the young guys, to the coaching staff, to me. And so he's a guy that we would like to have here in a Red Sox uniform for a long time.
I mean, watching games, you see he's always talking it up with Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer. How important has he been when it comes to helping those guys getting acclimated to the big league so far?
Yeah, I'm not sure how you could put a measure on that outside of, you're right, the communication, the conversations are happening all the time. They're happening in the clubhouse, in the video room, in the dugout. And Alex has talked a lot about the aptitude and the ability to make adjustments pitch to pitch or at bat to at bat that these guys have, which I think is a testament to their athleticism and just the raw talent that they have. He talks a lot, he jokes a lot about how much quicker they're able to make adjustments just given the natural talent that they have. And having somebody like Alex around them to guide them and help direct their work has been unbelievably valuable, just given how successful Alex has been in his career and the amount that he's been around winning.
With Bregman coming back, Alex Cora said there are decisions to be made around Marcelo Meyer. Is there a chance that you have to send him back down? And if so, was it a mistake to bring him up?
Well, I don't think it was a mistake to bring him up, kind of working backwards here. Alex got hurt and Marcelo was the right guy to fill in. And I think we've seen an incredible ability for him to step into third base and play really good defense there, despite the fact that he hadn't played a ton coming up. He was obviously, he's a shortstop and at some point is going to play shortstop again. But we have to make the best decision for the organization and the best decision for Marcelo. And usually those things overlap, but we'll figure that out when Alex is back and, we'll make the best decision we can.
During this time of the year, you know how it is. We all get to speculating about who could be dealt or who you potentially could be trading for. One name that's been rumored out there because he's having an amazing season and he's probably a huge asset for you is Aroldis Chapman. But how important is it to make sure if you're going for it this year that you have a guy like that at the back of your rotation as a closer who can go out there and win those critical postseason games for you?
Yeah, a guy like Aroldis in the postseason, just given the way the schedules are set up where you can really lean on your best relievers, he has a ton of impact, right? And we've seen it in postseasons that he's pitched in, and so you really lean on your top starters and kind of the horses in the bullpen. So you want to build a bullpen for the postseason, given the amount of innings that they're going to throw. Now, when people talk about Chapman and the deadline, right, the obvious kind of thing that comes to mind is, when he was traded for Cole Reagans and Reagans become a top of the rotation starter. But Aroldis Chapman is pitching for the Boston Red Sox right now, and it's unbelievably exciting to watch him come into the game. The fact that he's still throwing 100 miles an hour, is named to the All-Star team for, I think it was the 8th time, is great for us, and we're glad that that's the way it is right now.
Craig, I believe Fangraphs has you at a 36.5% chance of making the postseason as we sit here today. I'm sure you guys have your own much more scientific calculations around all this, but how much do those quantitative figures factor into what you want to do at the trade deadline?
Sure. So, I think something that I've learned in the short time that I've been in this role is those numbers can serve as a good baseline, but they don't tell the whole story. And what, our jobs in the front office are to do is to understand kind of what type of trajectory we're on and where we think we're going. And to do that, you need to consider, how are we playing? Do we think that we can keep this up? I think the answer to both of those is we're playing really well, and we do think that this is something that we can keep up. And then, we've got guys like Bregman coming back and Yoshida, obviously, last night, and we've got some starting pitching that's getting healthy. So I don't think the playoff probability tells the whole story, because I think we're a better team than what we've shown in the first half, and I think that we're starting to come together in the way that we had anticipated.
Did it surprise you as much as it did me that Rafael Devers blew Will Clark off 3 times?
I had a feeling I was going to get asked about this, and it turns out that my focus is solely on the Boston Red Sox.
I see.
I don't have much to add there.
I mean, could it be just a phone issue when it comes to major leaguers, veteran major leaguers who are texting? Do you know anything about that?
Again, we've got 26 guys on our major league roster. We've got an organization here to remain focused on, and we'll do everything we can to get the most out of our guys.
All right.
Well, maybe that's what it is. We got to get Devers a better phone plan.
Maybe it might be that's what it is. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, big series here. About to get underway this evening, and I think you're off next week with the rest of baseball, and so we will talk to you again soon, Craig Breslow.
Sounds good. I will miss all of you dearly. Thank you very much.
All right, there he is, the Chief Baseball Officer of the Boston Red Sox.